Face-Off Classic. Last year, Jack McBride was a captain for Princeton. Today, he leads North Carolina against his former mates and All-American midfielder Tommy Schreiber. The 8th-ranked Tar Heels square off against number 14 Princeton in Game 1. Next. This is the Konica Minolta Face-Off Classic. A sunny but chilly day in downtown Baltimore for a long day of college lacrosse, and it all gets started with number 14 Princeton going up against number 8 North Carolina in a meeting of two tradition-rich programs. Good morning from inside M&T Bank Stadium. I'm Eamon McEnany along with Quint Kesnick. Paul Carcaterra will join us momentarily. And Quint, as you take a look at Game 1 here, North Carolina against Princeton. The two teams have combined to lose 3 straight games. So at first you say, wow, that takes some of the starch out of this one. But really all it does maybe is create more of a sense of urgency.
Yeah, both these teams need to get back on the winning track. When you think about Princeton, didn't play well in the loss to Hopkins last week. Meanwhile, Carolina struggling big time. Lost to Lehigh and then Penn. The loser of this game's in a world of trouble.
Time now to take a look at our edge for today's matchup, and a unique one, Quint. Former roommates going up against each other.
Chad Wiedmeyer, one of the best one-on-one defenders in the nation for Princeton, against Jack McBride, former Princeton Tiger, scored 90 goals. Last year he was hurt. He's now a graduate student at North Carolina. This edge matchup, who knows? These guys faced each other a million times in practice. Only they know who has the edge.
They were also teammates in high school at Del Barton. For more on today's ball game, let's go down to the field and check in with Paul Carcaterra.
Well, last season, Carolina attackman Nicky Galasso led the team in points en route to be named the ACC Rookie of the Year. With off-season foot surgery, Galasso's production is down. The sophomore has yet to register a point in 2012. For a team full of offensive superstars that lacks chemistry, there couldn't be a better time for the pinpoint passer and crafty scorer to emerge.
All right, Paul, thank you very much. As you take a look, Galasso back in the starting lineup. As Paul mentioned, has yet to register a point after 56 a year ago. The ACC Rookie of the Year, first team All-ACC. North Carolina in the Tar Heel blue, Princeton in black. It'll be Keenan against Smythe on the opening faceoff. The ball squirts out. Ground ball pickup by Greg McBride in North Carolina, so the Tar Heels will go to work first offensively. And that was actually Jeff Fricaro on the faceoff for Princeton, so the Tigers make an adjustment right away, showing respect to R.G. Keenan.
Fricaro did a nice job making that a 50-50 ground ball.
So now this North Carolina offense, loaded with talent, but still trying to gel. This is Marcus Holman, junior captain from here in Baltimore, gets underneath inside and puts the Tar Heels on the board right away.
Excellent start for Joe Bresci. Mr. Positive, trying to spin it forward. Said we got to get off to a good start. We're not where we need to be, but if we get off to a good start, that's what we need. Watch a little re-dodge. Holman's got all sorts of space. There's not a backup within about a 5-yard radius. That was an example of an experienced player dodging, kind of looking up and saying, well, if they're not going to double, I have to take my chances here. We saw Princeton slow to double team last week against Johns Hopkins. I don't get it.
So now a violation on Fricaro. Here comes Keenan, one of the best face-off guys in the country. He gets scored against Lehigh, but he gives it up here. Quick ball movement. Emila with a quick shot. Rebound opportunity. Saved by Fiorito. He comes out on the clear. Fiorito keeps it himself over midfield. Now he drops it off to the attack in McDonald. This is the freshman out of Canada by way of Trinity Pauling in New York. Now Schreiber. First team All-Ivy as a freshman. The Ivy League Freshman of the Year.
Tremendous player, 22 in black. The unquestioned quarterback of this Princeton offense. Thought a week ago he didn't get enough touches. Didn't think the Tigers utilized him well running off of picks. He does not have blazing speed, so he really benefits from when they set picks on the ball.
Quint, what are your keys for the Tigers?
Well, there are many. Team defense, slide effectively. We didn't see that on the first goal. I just don't get it. And then they're going to struggle facing off today. They have to utilize their options. Jeff Recaro, Peter Smythe, Bob Lucas, or even a Pole.
Hard lefty shot by Schreiber, stopped by Restivo. Steven Restivo, the North Carolina keeper. Flag down, so a big hit by Princeton will cost them. Free possession for the Tar Heels. Once they get it in the box, as they do now, they have to keep it in the box. Creighton is a threat to score. Last year, he had 10 goals. He's being guarded by Schreiber. Creighton gets a step. Fiorito got a piece. If Wiedmeyer comes up with it, it goes out of the box. So now the extra man unit will take the field for the Tar Heels. Princeton coached by Chris Bates in his third year with the Tigers, looking to pick up win number 18 and his 88th career victory. So the call goes against McDonald. North Carolina extra man unit, 6 of 14 on the season. Look for Pat Foster, number 41. Inside, though, they go. Wood can't bury the quick stick.
It's a nice look. Carolina -6 in specialty situations. Spent far too much time in the penalty box.
Foster with the ball, 3 of those 6 extra man goals. Here's Holman. Golasso to Holman. Here's Wood. Foster back to Wood. Golasso looking inside. Good collapse defense by Flanagan. Mike Flanagan, a senior out of Georgetown Prep, creating the turnover, so we go the other way.
It's a very skillful Tar Heel extra man unit. The one thing they may lack is an outside bomber. And Golasso may have the most range of that group. You see the excellent passing, but Princeton just collapsing, saying, hey, you want to take the 14-yarder? Tyler Fiorito's all over that.
So we're all even, 6-on-6 right now. This is Mike Grossman carrying for the Tigers. He gives it up to Schreiber. This is Alex Capretta, senior out of San Francisco. Schreiber now being guarded by McBride in a short stick.
Carolina looks like they're playing zone defense. Yes, they are.
Schreiber now. Dodging to his left, back to his right. Avoids the double and gives it up. Here's Tucker Shanley. Shot opportunity and a goal. Capretta goes high to high to even it up.
If you can't save the outside high heat, you can't play zone defense. Capretta straight overhand. The book on Restivo is that he drops down low. Watch the goaltender drop down low. Ball, high heat, over his shoulder.
And Capretta, not known as an outside bomber, Quint. All the attention on Tucker Shanley, number 7 in black. He's the one that stretches that defense. UNC burned.
So there's a look at Capretta. His second of the season. He scored in the loss to Hopkins. Keenan gets it back to himself. Good check by Jonathan Myers. He gives it up to McDonald. What a save by Restivo. Vaccaro gathers the rebound. Bombing away. That hit the pipe off of Schreiber.
Well, Restivo struggles with outside shots. He's a more dynamic keeper from the inside.
Quick on the restart. Nice check and ground ball by Myers to create the offense.
I am not going zone against Princeton. they're a team that lacks speedy dodgers, but they do have some nice outside shooters. You got to play man-to-man defense against the Tigers and make it a big boy type game. Johns Hopkins last week, strictly man-to-man.
3 shots in 7 seconds, so early wake-up call for Steven Restivo. Our goalies this afternoon already heavily involved. Tyler Fiorito for Princeton, Steven Restivo for the Tar Heels.
Carolina back to man-to-man defense.
Here's Schreiber. Gives it up. Schreiber being guarded by Jordan Smith, the sophomore out of North Carolina. Princeton now being patient. So now, quick slide from Smith. Schreiber keeps it, now gives it up.
You can be patient against North Carolina this year. They lack ball pressure on defense. Lehigh and Penn.
Step down and a score! Kip Orban gives Princeton the lead.
On a possession-based scheme, this Carolina defense is giving up goals by the boatload. Easy step down. Think about all the extra possessions that the Tar Heels have won this season, yet they're giving up all sorts of goals. They have struggled on defense.
So Orban gets the goal. Will Himmler gets the assist. Himmler's 4th assist of the season. Take a look at the scouting report for Kip Orban from Chris Bates. Athletic, can shoot it. On display there. Lucas picks it up. Keenan Arnold. But Lucas holds on to it for now.
Very interesting week for North Carolina. You lose to Lehigh last week, and you're on spring break. Travel to Philadelphia, lose to Penn on a Tuesday. Stay there, you practice at Malvern Prep, you drive down to Baltimore, you practice at Gilman, you practice living out of hotel rooms during spring break week.
So now here's Tucker Shanley. Shanley being guarded by Dunster. A couple of Connecticut products who know each other well going at it. Restivo gets a piece of that.
Good stop by Restivo.
Shanley out of Fairfield Prep, Dunster out of Greenwich. It'll start with Mike Grossman. Now Capretta being guarded by McBride. Shanley looking to get his hands free, decides not to pull the trigger. Vaccaro going hard at McComas. Shot. Good check there by Charlie McComas. Just over 8 minutes left here in the first quarter between number 14 and number 8. The Tigers with a 1-goal lead and the ball. Grossman gets the switch, now being guarded by McComas. That pass picked off by Dunster. The former running back in high school turns on the Jets for the one-man clear. Gets by Capretta, extra pass. Galasso up top, shot opportunity, blocked. Good ground ball by Myers, so we go the other way.
That was a very effective slow break. Dunster did a wonderful job in transition. He pressed his matchup, drew the double team. If I'm Galasso, I'd catch that flying top side at the goal line extended and look for yourself.
Let's check in with Paul.
You know, for a team that was playing defense for the majority of this first quarter, not the possession, though, if you're going to force it right there. Quinn, I like your thought process with Galasso, but if he's not going to shoot that, bring it behind, give your team a possession, value the ball.
Princeton doesn't value the ball right there as they were off sides with the turnover, so now we have an unsettled opportunity the other way. Tyler Morton carries it into the box. Now McBride. Cunningham hustles back in to make it 6-on-6.
And turnovers have been the storyline of the season for North Carolina. Take a look at the keys. It's the second key there. 36 turnovers in the last 2 games. That's more than the amount of shots on goal they have. Got to find some chemistry on offense. Coach Bresci telling us he's going to shuffle the cards, kind of shrink his roster, move some guys around. They've been playing a lot of natural attackmen at midfield positions.
So here is Jack McBride, a graduate student a year ago, a captain at Princeton, 90 career goals, being guarded by his high school teammate Chad Wiedmeyer. Gets a pick, gives it up. This is Duncan Hutchins who picks it up off the ground.
McBride is going to try to take Wiedmeyer right-handed. That is a cross-handed hold for Wiedmeyer, a defender who is much more comfortable driving left-handed dodges from X.
Good check by Costello, so Galasso throws it away. Second turnover for the Tar Heels.
That's been typical of the Tar Heels in the last 2 losses. Silly, sloppy turnovers on offense, and then just playing defense forever. Teams really milking the clock.
What was it, a 7-minute possession for Penn during the week? So now Fiorito looking to clear. This is Orban. Schreiber gives it up. Himmler to Orban. Now McDonald. This is Luke Armour. Into the lineup for Sonnenfeld. Out with a hamstring, so Armour gets to see more playing time. He's being guarded by Hutchins. Armour turned back to his right. Now here's Schreiber. Natural midi up top. Gets underneath. Shot. Save Restivo. He looks to clear. He has Creighton in the middle of the field. 3 saves for Restivo. It's a foot race. Creighton, the pass. He's got a man in the middle. McBride can't make the catch, though. He hustles for the ground ball. Here's Galasso.
Carolina wants to run on Princeton today because Princeton subs out on a change of possession. They've had 2 slow break opportunities, 0 conversions.
Here's Chad Tutton, the freshman out of Canada, as we get a first real look at Carolina playing 6-on-6 in a while. Creighton makes the catch. Now Dunster.
Both those.
Galasso being guarded by a short stick. Advantage to the reigning ACC Rookie of the Year, you would think. Quick slide. Feet inside, knocked down by Fiorito. So another turnover by the Heels.
Tay Galasso, the lack of practice time is showing up. To me, twice in transition, he has just not shown the aggression that he did last year.
Let's check in with Paul Carcaterra.
You know, I've been watching Nicky Galasso play since he's in 8th grade. This is not the Nicky Galasso we're accustomed to seeing. He's certainly slow because of the foot, huffing and puffing. His conditioning definitely a question. It's going to take a couple weeks to get back into that game rhythm for him.
Considered the top high school recruit in his senior class, 500 career points at West Islip, and he lived up to the hype as a freshman, certainly. 56 points in the ACC Rookie of the Year.
National Freshman of the Year, according to us.
According to you, sure.
But let me tell you,
certainly he was.
You
no
get
argument.
a foot injury, you've got to live in the pool, you got to live on the bike. You can't let yourself get out of shape. And from my eyes tell me that he's put on some weight. And that's going to work against making cuts and getting back into game shape.
This is certainly the most playing time he's seen already in the short season. Limited earlier in the year.
And Coach Bresci knows he's not a 60-minute guy right now. Got to play him in spots.
Here's Grossman looking to get underneath. He does. Goes inside the crease. Or we get a timeout called by Princeton. So the Tigers want to talk things over with 2:05 to play in the first quarter and a 1-goal lead. There's a look at Joe Bresci, coaching his alma mater, hoping to turn things around here in his hometown of Baltimore. We're hoping to be shouting it from the rooftop all day long in Baltimore, a triple header of lacrosse.
So to recap, Konica Minolta can help us grow. They have this award-winning BizHub press production printer, up to 500,000 pages a month, amazing quality. BizHubs will really increase our efficiency, and they can handle our whole IT and document side 24/7.
From document solutions to IT services, great companies count on Konica Minolta.
Automatic freshness, softness, and static control has never been easier with the Bounce dryer bar. I just stick it to the inside of my dryer, and I never have to remember.
Oh, Spice Body Spray makes you smell like power! It's so powerful it sells itself in other people's commercials. You smell like outdoor freshness.
You smell like power.
Yeah, I do. Power! Power!
The Konica Minolta Face-Off Classic is brought to you by Konica Minolta. Count on Konica Minolta for game-winning performance. Brine, rain on. And Old Spice Body Spray. Smell is power. Here in Baltimore, Princeton with a 1-goal lead on North Carolina. 2:05 left to play in the first quarter. The first of 3 college lacrosse games from M&T Bank Stadium. As we take a look at the national headlines in college lacrosse, an upset Tuesday, Quinn.
Tuesday turmoil for Carolina, who falls to Penn. Maryland loses to UMBC, and Yale, how about Sacred Heart beating Yale?
Sacred Heart going on a run to win that one 11-10. And Quentin, your new favorite team,
Yeah,
Greg Canella's club.
UMass is stacked. Everybody's starting to realize it. You got some great players in Will Manny, defenseman Tom Celentani, Tim McCormick in the goal. Very dangerous UMass team.
And then an injury that really took the air out of the balloon for college lacrosse. Rob Pinnell going down against Army. We will see Cornell coming up next as they try to regroup.
I still think Cornell is a legitimate top 8 team. See how they react later today.
No problem against Canisius. It'll be a different story against Virginia. But now let's go down to Paul Carcaterra and talk about the Tigers.
Well, Coach Bates' message to his team in the huddle: give the defense a break, a good possession. If UNC's in a zone, look for a throwback after overloading one side. Success with the outside shooting.
All right, so it's Shanley out there, and he loses it. Good takeaway check by Staines. Mark Staines now with the pickup. Up ahead to McBride. He has a trailer and Dunster and Staines. Looking to get his hands free. Dumps it off. Shot and a goal! Nicky Galasso answers the critic.
This is exactly how Carolina wants to attack today. Mark Staines, the catalyst, creates the turnover. And as I said earlier, Princeton likes to substitute off the field. What a great time to attack. It's a 4-on-4. Earlier, I was critical that Galasso was not north of the goal line extended. This time he was. And watch this shot. Little change of level. He'll drop a stick down low, snap it up top. But the key there is that he's put himself in position to be a dual threat as a passer and a shooter. The 2 prior breaks, he was behind the goal. You're not a dual threat when you're behind the goal.
Keenan and Lucas once again. So Galasso is in the scoring column for his sophomore season. Keenan punches it forward, can't pick it up. Costello does for the Tigers. Nice check there. Unsettled opportunity. Imola lets it rip and beats Fiorito. Ground balls, ground balls, ground balls.
Carolina quick strike. I think it's Arjun Keenan who ultimately comes up with this assist. 25 in light blue. Watch him as he'll get pushed, get up, scoop, and pass.
And Davey Imola, known as a huge scorer, the transfer from Georgetown. That little snap right there. Fiorito has no clue where that shot's going. Imola, a 2-handed cradle snap shooter.
As Paul mentioned, the transfer from Georgetown a year ago in this event, he had 5 against Syracuse. Violation here on the faceoff against Keenan. So a big-time score going from Washington, D.C. to Chapel Hill.
2 quick goals for the Heels, who brought in McBride, graduate student, bring in Imola. You recruit Joey Sankey. You recruit Jimmy Bitter.
Excuse me.
You have a lot of returning attackmen. Thomas Wood, we haven't seen today. All of a sudden, you got a zillion attackmen. And chemistry has been hard to find. I mean, there's only so many guys you can play at once.
That's why they are the Miami Heat of college lacrosse. But just like the Miami Heat, once they figure it out, they could be dangerous. McBride to save Fiorito. 49 seconds left. Princeton throws it away, trying to rush it. But Steve will just let that one go out of bounds. On Friday, ESPNU travels down to Tobacco Road as bitter ACC rivals meet on the field. North Carolina taking on Duke. Old Spice College Lacrosse on ESPNU Friday at 5 Eastern. The Blue Devils also in Baltimore today, playing down the road against Loyola.
That's up the road, up north.
Thank you very much.
Up Charles Street. Make a left on Cold Spring Lane. Big game for Loyola. Yeah, a difficult week. You know, you're at Louisville, Kentucky, playing Bellarmine last week. Wednesday game at Michigan. You turn around and play a Duke team dealing with some injuries. Jordan Wolf's been banged up. Dave Lawson's been banged up.
McBride looking to create. Now McBride gets it back, being guarded by Costello. Working the two-man game, gives it up to Galasso, feeling it. Oh, that one was cooking. And that will do it for the first quarter. North Carolina answers with 2 goals in 10 seconds to take the lead. Kip Orban gave the Tigers a 2-1 lead with his goal, but then the Tar Heels rallied in transition. North Carolina leads by 1 after 1.
Lacrosse is bigger than ever at the 4th annual Conica Minolta Big City Classic on Sunday, April 1st at MetLife Stadium in the Meadowlands. The Big City Classic features the biggest names in lacrosse on the biggest stage. Notre Dame versus St. John's, Duke versus Syracuse, and North Carolina versus Johns Hopkins. All 3 games in one triple header on April 1st at MetLife Stadium. Log on to BigCityClassic.com to get your tickets today. Lacrosse, bigger than ever.
The 3rd annual ESPNU Warrior Classic returns on Saturday, April 14th, and makes its debut appearance in Charlotte, North Carolina. 10-time national champion Syracuse faces off against Big East rival Rutgers in the Warrior Classic rematch at 11 a.m. Then at 1:30 p.m., Hofstra takes on local favorite and lacrosse powerhouse North Carolina, all at American Legion Memorial Stadium. Get your tickets now. Call 704-980-2999 or visit ESPNUWarriorClassic.com today.
Introducing the all-new Sobakawa Cloud Pillow, a pillow 300 years in the making, based on the traditional Asian buckwheat pillow. The Sobakawa Cloud is filled with over 10 million air beads. It gives adjustable support, cools your head, and never breaks down. We placed eggs on the bottom of these cylinders, filled this cylinder with feathers from an expensive pillow. This 10-pound weight crushes the feathers and smashes the eggs. In this tube, we have stuffing from a fiber pillow, and it offers little resistance. Then we tried memory foam, and the weight wins again. Now watch as the weight hits the air beads. They absorb the shock, and the eggs are safe. Order today and we'll also include the Sobakawa pillowcase, a $10 value, and it's yours free. Buy one Sobakawa pillow for just $19.99, and a second pillow can be yours for only $7.99 with no additional S&H. Call now.
To order your Sobakawa Cloud Pillow, call 1-800-921-6641. That's 1-800-921-6641. Call now.
We are ready for the second quarter of Game 1 of the 6th Annual Face-Off Classic. North Carolina with a 1-goal lead. Quint, you mentioned all the talent they have on the offensive end.
Marcus Holman delivers here, a little re-dodge. No slide, gets inside the Tigers' den. And then they had 2 goals late in the second quarter. One in transition, where Princeton's defense slid to McBride and Galasso nails a wing shot. 10 seconds later, off a face-off scrap. So Carolina has 3 goals, 1 in 6 on 6, and then 2 in unsettled situations.
Joe Bresci likes seeing his offense come alive, looking for win number 40 at his alma mater in his 4th season. After 11 years in Columbus with the Buckeyes. And the shooting coming alive for Nicky Galasso and the Tar Heels. Showing some velocity on that lefty shot.
There's no question right now. That's an adjustment I make if I'm Princeton's defensive coordinator. Greg Raymond Stretch to Galasso in transition, stretched him on extra man. He has shown the ability to burst the ball past Tyler Fiorita.
Keenan wins it back to himself with ease, so the Tar Heels will look to clear and go to work on offense. Dunster running out of room. Gets by Schreiber with ease. Let's send it down to Paul, who was in the North Carolina huddle in between quarters.
Well, Coach Bresci made it clear to his defense to communicate and to help each other out. Wants all of his defense above the goal line and to play the outside shooters, not pressing players behind. And guys up in the booth, you mentioned all of those offensive players, primarily attackmen. Outside of Marcus Holman, he's really the only guy who's proven on this UNC team that he can switch between positions of attack and midfield. I think pivotal for the success for this offense in 2012.
All right, Paul, speaking of that talent, here's our first look at Jimmy Bitter, the younger brother of the former All-American Billy Bitter, wearing the same number 4. He gives it up. Quick ball movement. Hutchins gets it back with time and room. Extra pass, shot and a goal. Great ball movement, and it's a 3-0 run by the Heels.
Terrific team offense by the Tar Heels. Roll it a bit here. 32, Hutchins makes the play. Freeze it right now. You see, defensively, Princeton's going to send off of here, but they don't get a second on the ultimate goal scorer, and that's Jack McBride. Hutchins steps in. He sees that happen. Nice little touch pass. Clark talked about communication for Carolina's defense. That was poor communication for Princeton's defense. When I slide upfield, Eamon, you got to have my second slide. You got to be covering my man.
So the former Princeton Tigers scores on the Princeton Tigers. And a violation by Lucas, so Keenan starting to dominate at the X right now. 6-on-5 opportunity momentarily for the Heels. Now we're all even and the substitution process will begin.
Carolina has been a front-running team the last 2 years with R.G. Keenan winning faceoffs. Everything's great when he's 75%.
So now a short stick on Galasso behind Jack Strabo. See them clearing out, giving Galasso room. Galasso goes to his right. Sees the slide coming, gives it up to McBride. McBride, Wiedmeyer, the takeaway check. Ooh. There's a whistle on the scrum.
McBride playing without a stick, illegal procedure.
I had a chance to talk to Jack yesterday. He's like, look, I knew they were on the schedule as soon as I went to North Carolina, but still a big day for him playing against his former teammates. Now Schreiber, he's being guarded by a short stick. Gets inside, dumped off, and a goal! Tommy Schreiber creates, McDonald finishes.
It's a big goal. I was going to say Schreiber's not getting enough touches because great things happen when the ball's in his stick. Carolina's defense, they switch the pick, advantage Schreiber. He's against the shorty. Green lights on. Carolina slides upfield. McDonald all alone.
And what makes 22 in black so special? Dual threat. Pick your poison if you're Carolina's defense. Do you slide to Schreiber, force him into a passer, or not slide and let him go down the alley to score? This kid can really put so much pressure on a defense because of his dual threat ability.
You know, it's amazing, Cart, that Carolina switches. Most teams would try not to switch that matchup and keep the long pole on him. Now, once he's got the short on him, everything changes defensively. You've got to then help.
So Schreiber now 8 assists on the season. North Carolina with a 5-4 face-off advantage, but they've won 3 in a row. So they get it back here.
I know last week Johns Hopkins was intent on keeping Tucker Durkin on Schreiber. They wanted to maintain that matchup integrity. So he was fighting through picks. Remember the one time he did get picked off, Schreiber drove right-handed and scores. So important defensively for all the pieces to understand the matchup and how things change when the matchups change.
Hutchins throws that one away, still in play.
Good defense.
Good check by Wiedmeyer, taking the stick out of his former roommate's hands.
Turnover city.
So 4 turnovers for the Heels. They had cleaned it up after a rough start in the first quarter, but now they give it up to the Tigers.
Left side of the screen, watch the sloppy pass, and Wiedmeyer just hustling. Good clean check, turnover earned.
Schreiber gonna let it fly. Oh, look out! Oh man! Oh,
man, that's not funny.
That is not funny at all. They had helmets, but they were not ready. There's nets over there for them to stand behind.
You got to pay attention.
Here's another one. Look out.
Come on, Carr, keep your head on a swivel.
We got to get Kark a helmet.
Seen Boston Cannon cheerleaders in Major League Lacrosse get pegged with a Mikey Powell shot. If you're a ball boy, you got to have the helmet on, the gloves, the whole deal, but you got to pay attention.
They got nets down at the other end. Those guys got to get a protective net down at that end. Back to the game, Grossman with caring for it. Carrying it off to Capretta, who has one. Capretta being guarded by Morton. San Francisco against Denver. He gives it up to Fricaro. Extra pass, step down, Schreiber, save, Restivo with the thigh. 6 saves already for the Ward Melville product.
Done a nice job after Capretta's initial goal. So I thought he kind of went down on. He's tightening things up.
Carolina makes the clear. Under 11 minutes to play here in the first half. Number 8 with the ball against number 14. Both teams looking to get back in the winning track, so a flag comes up here. I can't count past 6. Quint, does Princeton have too many players out there?
Yeah,
No?
they do.
Yes, they do. So go double the ball, right? Hutchins now, free possession for the Tar Heels. Absolutely 7 Tigers out there. So here comes the double. They have to keep it in the box. Costello on the ball, so they jump off the ball. Loses his man, McBride scores! 6 on 7, and McBride still finds a way to score.
Flag down situation. The green light is on. Make a play. Got nothing to lose at all. McBride, known for his ability right-handed to dodge. He's a good power dodger. Wiedmeyer loses his edge. And McBride, like a fullback. Look at him use his body. Got a nice matchup here, so he's in go mode. Wiedmeyer takes a bad angle, falls down. McBride, that's got to be sweet for him.
Wiedmeyer getting picked by his own man, and McBride taking advantage. This time it becomes a ground ball. Tigers pick it up. Derek Raby with the ground ball. Now Wiedmeyer looking for the touchdown pass. Decides to take the easy one. Now Jonathan Myers. Gets it in the box. Now he's in trouble. And Chris Bates realizes it and takes a timeout with 9:45 left to play in the half. We will step aside as well right now from downtown Baltimore. When we return, more from the second quarter. Number 14 Princeton will have the ball in the Face-Off Classic.
ESPNU's Tournament Countdown throws on with college basketball whip-around as our team of experts take you around the country to talk with the impact teams and star players.
Throws it down!
Tournament Countdown continues Wednesday at 1 on ESPNU.
back to Baltimore for the Conica Minolta Face-Off Classic. In November, the Bates family, Princeton University, and the lacrosse community suffered a loss as Dr. Ann Bates, the wife of Chris Bates, passed away after nearly a decade-long battle with cancer. She was 9 days past her 43rd birthday, and in the words of her husband, she was the most courageous, inspirational person he had ever met. She hit every challenge head on. She was really just an inspiration. You see the Ann B there in her memory. Our thoughts and prayers, of course, go out to Chris, his 10-year-old son, Nicholas. And Quint, we had a chance last week on campus to see Nicholas at the game, and that whole community, but especially his coaches' players rallying around Nicholas.
Yeah, you got 40 guys on this roster who have become older brothers to Nick. Great to see him on the sideline in the stands last week.
There's a shot and a goal by Orban, his second of the game.
Was impressed with what we saw from Orban last summer down in Orlando as part of the ESPN Rise games. Orban, a very good athlete. He's got a burst, and Carolina mismanages. There's no double team, there's no slide. He's running parallel to the hash marks, no double.
And Orban has some guts in that huddle with Coach Bates. He said a good possession, get the ball around. Let's not shoot to Restivo's stick side. Orban gets the ball right away, goes down that alley, and stings it stick side on Restivo.
Orban's dad, Steve, played lacrosse growing up. In fact, he started the lacrosse program himself and his buddies at Brian McMahon High School in Norwalk, Connecticut. Kip played at Staples in Westport. Staines with the ground ball for the Tar Heels.
Watch Carolina on tape. Break down their stats. If you can possess the ball, you will score against the Tar Heel defense.
Fiorito in trouble here. Myers can't come up with it. Good check by Galasso, and the Tar Heels get it back. Next Saturday, ESPNU has a lacrosse doubleheader featuring some of the top programs in the nation. First at 2 Eastern, it's an Ivy League rivalry between Penn and these Princeton Tigers. Then at 4 Eastern, perennial powers collide as Syracuse takes on Johns Hopkins. Old Spice College Lacrosse on ESPNU Saturday at 2 and 4 Eastern. A great weekend of college lacrosse next weekend on ESPNU. Rivalry weekend starts with Duke, Carolina, then those two games, then Denver and Notre Dame on Sunday. Inside feed from Bitter. Bitter gets it back. Galasso can't handle the pass. Took his eye off it.
Princeton
and it goes out of bounds.
Showed a little zone defense off of that turnover and play stoppage.
Coach Bresci takes a timeout with 8:48 to play after his 7th turnover of the ball game. Galasso's in the scoring column, and his team has a 1-goal lead.
The 3rd annual ESPNU Warrior Classic returns on
Baltimore. So far an entertaining first half of 3 games here on the slate today. Let's now take a look at our InsideLacrosse.com photos of the week. We start with Syracuse and Virginia mirror image.
Pair number 24, Steve Ianzito of the Orange on the right. Rob Emery, sophomore from California, playing for the Cavs on the left. What a great game that was.
Denver back on track. We will see the Pioneers next Sunday in South Bend. Mark Matthews, a Tewaaraton Trophy candidate with 3 goals and an assist in the 1-goal win over Hartford.
A much closer game than I had anticipated.
Speaking of the Irish, John Kemp and folks giving up just 4 goals a game. They gritted one out down in Philly a week ago.
12 goals against now after 3 games? That's ridiculous.
First 1 to 6 wins today on Long Island against Hofstra. And the no-look, Miles Thompson rips the tough backhand shot past Yale. 13-7 though, Yale winning that one.
This is the best photo of the group. Chestnut Hill attackman taking Mercyhurst goalie Michael Grace. Lakers won the war though, 17-5 in D2 action.
Chestnut Hill coached by the Doc, Brian Doherty, the former Maryland star. I wonder if that's why we see so many goalies coming out of the Philly area, because Doc tutors them all. We'll see that later on in the year. Nico Amato, Dan Wigreiser, Matt Lerman for Syracuse.
Philly's producing more than just goaltenders. Carolina in a 10-man ride. Empty net, they're pressing upfield.
Princeton has 30 seconds to get in the box. Chris White has it.
Nice job by Princeton It's a Penn team that scored an empty netter by breaking down Carolina's 10-man ride. Got a 45-yard shot.
So here's Orban. He has 2 already. He's out there with Capretta and Schreiber.
The 10-man ride, to me, is such a great strategy. Bucknell doing it a lot this year. Johns Hopkins has been practicing the 10-man.
Just reminded Bucknell fans of a 10-man ride that the referees weren't ready for last spring in Charlottesville. A huge development in that game in the NCAA tournament. Schreiber gets his hands free. Did that
ball never went out? Now it did.
Quick whistle.
You can't see it, don't call it.
Carl will back up. Bucknell saw a 10-man ride coming, so they took a shot. The officials didn't think it was a shot, so they called it a turnover, and Virginia got the ball back as the Cavs rallied to tie it and then eventually win it in overtime on their way to the national championship. Sorry to remind the Bucknell fans of that occurrence, but that was certainly an exciting game in the first round. Vaccaro draws the flag as he gets the shot off. Let's see what the call is. There'll be a hold on Joe Bresci's club, so he sends down his man down unit.
Tyler Morton. Given a what? Watch 7. Little cross check is high. Cross check high again. Haven't seen a cross check hold called all season. May have been the first.
Some coaches will tell you, hey, you want scoring to increase? Call that.
Yeah, you got to bring your hands together.
Quick ball movement right now. Capretta with a look. He'll take it, not on cage. Princeton going without Forrest Sonnenfeld, who had 2 extra man goals in the first 3 games.
Ball boys ready on that shot. I like it.
Step down for Shanley. Restivo makes the high save. Looking for Creighton up top. Makes the connection. Good hustle by Schreiber as he gets back.
Transition is created by stops. Restivo pumping his fist behind the scenes. Got good breakout passes.
Capretta looks to get off, so might have an unsettled opportunity through the substitution box, but the Tar Heels slow things up.
Restivo's seeing the pill right now after giving up that first shot.
Here's Bitter being guarded by Costello. He gives it up to Foster. North Carolina has become hot with the shooting, scoring on 4 of the last 6 shots. Joe Bresci, recognizing how critical this possession is, takes a timeout with just under 6 minutes to play in the first half and a 1-goal lead. Quint, you mentioned it, the ball boys looking alive for this shot. Earlier today, maybe they weren't ready for the 11 o'clock start.
So we are so fortunate. And
listen to me, young man. I know what I'm talking about.
You have got to pay attention.
That was the other one coming right back at him.
You know, I'm just trying to help these little guys out. Those balls are flying 95 miles an hour up to 100. I might be the casualty here, though. My back's turned. That ball's humming by. Unbelievable. But these kids, head on a swivel. I told them, you have to be like a goaltender back here. Eye the ball.
Fantastic job.
Well, the ball boys enjoying a great day of lacrosse here. You see him playing the ball, throwing the ball all over the place. As we listen in on Joe Bresci and the Tar Heels.
If our guys, and again, for 22, he's going against the pole, it doesn't matter. We got to be ready to go. All right? You guys understand that? You did a hell of a job that series. Let's keep that going. Identify a hot guy the entire time. Everybody have a hot guy and help out on the inside. Guys, are doing a good job of sloughing it. Okay, helping out. Let's roll. You know the right hands, you know the left hands, all that. Keep playing.
Two things stand out there. You know the right hands, you know the left hands. Understand what the strong hand of your opponent is. Second thing is identify the hot guy. Identify the hot guy. Somebody has always got that first slide responsibility. and the goalie's talking, the crease defender's talking. On every exchange, every defender is talking, and you're constantly saying, who's hot? Eamon, you're hot. You're going, you're going. That responsibility changed. Hey, I'm hot, I'm hot. You want to use first names as much as possible, and you are talking as a defender on every single pass.
Bitter loses control, has to gather it back in and not take the shot. Moves it along to Golasso. Golasso being guarded by a short stick. And he gets it back. So now, Princeton caught up here. Golasso retreats. Holman out there with Hutchins. McBride going hard. Good double team.
Oh, man!
And that draws a flag. Big hit by Duncan Hutchins, but he will go to the box. And a little woofing going on between Hutchins and Cunningham.
A lot of chirping going on.
So legal checks the call.
Takes more discipline to swivel your hips and not cross-check a guy in the head or lead with your helmet. Again, we talked about it last year, Eamon. The hands are up. You've got to twist, drop your hands, and hit with your shoulder like they do in hockey.
Shoulder through the numbers.
Yeah.
And bring the stick down, too.
You know, the tendency for lacrosse players is to use their fists and the stick kind of to protect yourself as the hitter. But you've got to swivel the hips and drop your shoulder.
Dangerous skip pass, knocked away by McComas, but the Tigers will hold on to it. Tomorrow night, ESPNU's Tournament Countdown begins with the NIT Selection Show at 9 Eastern, and then a special edition of The Experts at 9:30 Eastern. The Tournament Countdown on ESPNU, ESPN3, and also streaming live on WatchESPN.com.
Selection Sunday coming up. Love to fill out my bracket.
Restivo continues to see it well.
And when I fill out my bracket, I pretend it's a lacrosse tournament. And every year, Syracuse seems to win. Syracuse, Carolina, they played in the finals now, like, you know, them and Duke.
Here's McBride. That would be a pretty impressive Final Four for both sports. Syracuse, Carolina, Duke, and pick your fourth club. Here's Dunster. So Princeton fails to take advantage of the minute-long penalty. Dunster down the alley, gives it up. Princeton moving around on defense. McBride loses it.
Dunster dusts his man very fast.
Drafted by the Chesapeake Bayhawks, so he'll be playing his pro ball in this neck of the woods this summer.
He projects to be a two-end transitional midfielder.
Now Holman. Holman's been quiet since he started the ball game off with a goal, being guarded by Fernandez. Dunster being guarded by Costello. Back to his left. Still going. Shot. Goal! Jimmy Dunster. It's 6-4 Tar Heels.
Just not sure Princeton is studying their tendencies. Dunster is a strong left-handed player. Freeze it right here. Earlier, he dodged down this right alley, and Princeton was eager to slide. Now, as a natural left-handed player, you've got to take away his left hand. No double team. He gets to his strong hand, and there's no double team. I just don't get it. You have to understand the strong-handed tendencies of your opponent.
So the Tar Heels have scored on their last 3 shots. Violation on Keenan, so the Tigers will get a chance to answer. Shot by the long stick. Derek Raby wasn't picked up, so he decided to let it fly. So now Princeton for Caro. Gives it up. Grossman sends it up top. Now Schreiber being guarded by Smith. Quinn, as opposed to last week, have they gone through Tommy Schreiber enough?
No, he only has 1 assist.
Here comes Capretta. Being guarded by McBride, he throws it away. 8 turnovers now for Chris Bates' ball club. Let's send it down to Paul.
If you watch that last Princeton possession, the only ball carrier out there that's really moving when he doesn't have the ball was Tommy Schreiber and Jeff Carroll. You saw Grossman behind the cage. If you're a player, move to the ball, flat-footed, not able to approach that pass. That's poor offense.
Orban has a chance to get things going as a call on McBride away from the ball, point right at midfield. Curious to see what the call was as McBride was trying to get open. They went offside. So here's Schreiber. Good recovery by Smith. Schreiber with a full head of steam, sees the slide coming.
He draws the quick double. They get the matchup change. I'd be setting more picks for him to try to change the matchup on ball.
Here's Capretta. Capretta looking to get the right hand free. Does. Too high. 1:58 to play in the first half. Number 14 with the ball, trailing number 8. Two teams really in need of a victory here. North Carolina more so than Princeton with that automatic bid in the Ivy League. Schreiber looking to feed, takes the shorter pass instead. Princeton has missed its last 8 shots. Grossman being guarded by McComas.
Carolina may have switched into a zone.
Vaccaro draws the short stick of Creighton. So they have a switch here. Capretta and Vaccaro being guarded by short stick. You hear him calling out shooter switch. Pass inside. McDonald having a hard time getting his hands free. Key ground ball there. Popping today. Kieran McDonald with a good check. Now has the ball on his stick. Orban all over him. So a great opportunity here for North Carolina as we approach the final minute of the half with a 2-goal lead and the ball. Out of timeouts though.
Key ground ball in your defensive zone, and then really good handle by both McDonald and McComas. Realizing you always have help back, you're not in a rush. And then McComas looking far opposite, delivers a strike for the easy clear.
So here's Holman, under 30 seconds to play in the half. Being guarded by Strabo. Our first stall warning of the ball game. Comes late in the second quarter. They have to keep it in the box or they'll turn it over. Holman to Dunster on the step down. Off the cage. Stall warning stays in effect after the shot. Galasso will start it with 12 seconds left.
Yeah, Princeton switching the matchup up. Holman being covered by a shorty. Breaking ankles behind the net.
Galasso being guarded by Myers. 8 seconds. Looking to feed inside. Finds his man. Quick stick. Doesn't go. Ground ball for Princeton with 1 second left, but that will do it. They got to look, but they couldn't bury it. But the Tar Heels will still take a 2-goal lead into the locker room.
Short clock offense for Carolina. Really well done. Galasso changes direction. You'll see the cutting Tar Heel. Watch this ball bounce. Hit the post. The entire ball must cross over the line. No goal. Good call by the officials.
Coming up on the Warrior halftime report, we will have a preview of our game 2 here. Cornell against number 1 Virginia. We'll look ahead to a exciting weekend of rivalries next weekend. And of course, we'll have highlights of the first half. Now let's send it down to Paul, who's standing by with Joe Bresci.
Coach, you look at Princeton's success on offense coming from the outside shots. How do you defend them in the second half?
We got to press out a little bit more. I think they're doing a good job of starting from behind and then throwing it out top. And we got to get on their hands. Schreiber's a heck of a player, and we're doubling in him every opportunity we get. So they got some great shooters. We just got to be ready to help and slide early and pinch the doubles.
You look at your offense, a lot of individual stars. What's the message to them at halftime?
Just continue to play together. I think at the end of the first quarter, we started to play like a team for the first time in quite some time. And you know, they're playing loose and fast, and we're getting some transition opportunities, which is helping to loose up our guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, Paul, an exciting first half. Jack McBride, the former Princeton captain, was ready to go. He had two. So did the freshman, Kip Orban. But Jimmy Dunster and the Tar Heels with a 2-goal lead after the first 2 quarters of play. We're back with the Warrior halftime report after this.
Listen up, men. It's time we learn to make the big plays, and they start with chocolate, because women love chocolate. Birthdays, Mother's Days, anniversaries, special occasions, treat each one like it's the championship game. The big play? Give her the Whitman Sampler, an American classic. Now, if you really want to win big, enter the Whitman Sweet Sweepstakes to win a luxury suite for 20 of your friends at the Whitman Sampler Mile High Classic. Just visit the Whitman Sampler Facebook page for details. Remember, the big games call for an American classic. Give her a Whitman Sampler.
Look closely. This $50 Buffalo gold piece is the first United States coin ever struck using .9999, that's 4 nines, pure 24-karat gold. The U.S. government had to stop production because of a shortage of specially made gold blanks. It's no wonder the price of this edition is going through the roof. Now you can reserve your own copy clad in 14 milligrams of pure gold. The final issue price was to be set at $50 per proof, but now this private non-monetary gold-clad masterpiece can be yours for only $9.95. With gold skyrocketing, price can only be guaranteed for 7 days. Each new 2012 $50 gold Buffalo Tribute proof is clad in 14 milligrams of pure gold, is proof struck, and utilizes the famous Buffalo nickel design. Strict limit of 5 proofs per caller. You must hurry. Call now.
Call 1-800-493-9012, 1-800-493-9012. Strict limit of 5 proofs per caller. Call 1-800-493-9012.
Welcome to the Warrior Halftime Report. It's the 6th annual Conacher Minolta Face-Off Classic, and the first 30 minutes are in the books between number 8, North Carolina, and number 14, Princeton. Back here at M&T Bank Stadium, Eamon McEnany along with Quint Kesenick. Quint, an interesting game in Game 1, but certainly Game 2, a rematch of a quarterfinal game between number 1 Virginia and number 3 Cornell.
Yeah, a lot to look forward to. Virginia really got it rolling on offense last week against Syracuse. Cornell, major question marks now that Rob Pennell is no longer a part of their starting lineup.
You mentioned the biggest developing story in college lacrosse right now, Rob Pennell, the All-American, going down against Army.
What's the impact going to be? You know, you take the nation's best playmaker out of the mix. Will this be like the Indianapolis Colts without Peyton Manning, or will the other seniors, everybody, step up and pull on that rope? Roy Lang's a guy, is a senior midfielder from California. He has got to improve his performance. He's great running from defense to offense. Leadership needs to be number 1 on his list today.
Virginia has never successfully defended a national title, but boy, did they look ready to do it this year against Syracuse.
I mean, offensively, he showed a lot of different weapons. Look at Colin Briggs. 29 goals a year ago. He's got 10 already. Loved Chris LaPierre scoring in transition. Virginia showed 2 distinct offenses, playing fast, and then really shooting the ball so well with guys like Rob Emery.
They met twice last year here in Baltimore and in Long Island in the quarterfinals. Virginia won both. In March, it was 11-9 ball game. On Long Island, 13-9. Dom Stargia in that game became the winningest coach in men's Division I college lacrosse.
7-0 run there in the second quarter, and then Virginia could sit in their zone defense. Cornell never had an answer for Virginia's zone.
Hard to remember that in that game, Cornell was the quote-unquote favorite. The rematch later today, but when we return to the Warrior Halftime Report, a look ahead to a trio of rivalry games on ESPNU next weekend. This halftime report is presented by Warrior. All hail Warrior.com.
Experience the energy of college lacrosse at the Whitman Sampler Mile High Classic when the nation's elite play in prime time at Sports Authority Field on Friday, April 27th. Virginia versus Penn. Duke versus Denver. A championship-ready lineup that showcases the intensity of the nation's fastest-growing sport. For tickets and schedule, call 303-OUTLAWS or log on to MileHighLaxClassic.com. The Whitman Sampler Mile High Classic, elevating lacrosse.
Tournament Countdown is on ESPNU with over 60 hours of exclusive coverage. Monday at 1, Andy Katz interviews all 68 head coaches on College Basketball Live.
We've got Syracuse's Jim Boeheim on the horn.
At 8, the Women's Selection Show extends its coverage to dissect the matchups and get reactions from sites around the country.
Good things happen when Griner gets the ball.
Then at 9, the experts delve deep into each region and guide you through the brackets. Tournament Countdown starts Monday at 1 on ESPNU.
Listen up, college sports fans. ESPNU is giving you a chance to walk the red carpet at the 2012 ESPYs by proving that you're the ultimate college sports fan. In a minute or less, show off your school spirit and upload a video to ESPNU's Facebook page explaining why no one's as fanatic as you. And you can win an all-expenses-paid trip to the ESPYs in Los Angeles. The ultimate winner will be chosen exclusively through fan votes. Submit videos now through March 21st at facebook.com/ESPNU.
Welcome back to the Warrior Halftime Report. A sunny but chilly day here in Baltimore, and it is halftime between number 8 North Carolina and number 14 Princeton. Game 1 of the 6th annual Conaca Minolta Face-Off Classic. Eamon McEnany along with Quint Kesnick. And Quint, here today, 2 good games, a doubleheader on ESPNU. Next weekend, 4 good games that really can only be described as rivalry weekend.
Yeah, March mayhem in Division I lacrosse, and ESPNU is all across the map. 4 really good games. You know, you start on Friday with North Carolina and Duke. You talk rivalry game. Well, here it is. And this is such an important game this year because both North Carolina and Duke have already accumulated some losses. So the loser of that ball game really puts themselves in a difficult spot.
Duke in action today down the road against Loyola, looking to bounce back. That'll be Friday night, 5 o'clock from Durham on ESPNU. Then Saturday, Quint, the rivalry that's defined the sport.
Well, you think about Syracuse and all their championships from Central New York. Timmy Desco with a little flair. And it was always Syracuse-Johns Hopkins when I was growing up. Syracuse has owned this rivalry. Yeah, and it still is. Timmy Desco. And Johns Hopkins off to a nice start this year. 5-0 entering play this weekend. They'll face UMBC later today. John Rannigan, Rob Guida, a terrific defense, goaltending, and a well-coached Blue Jay team.
Syracuse has dominated the rivalry of late, including a double overtime thriller last year. But on Sunday, a Midwest matchup, Mark Matthews and Denver travel to South Bend.
Strength against strength. Mark Matthews and a really high-scoring Denver Pioneer team that was in last year's championship weekend against Notre Dame. It's all about the D out in South Bend. Joey Kemp, Wesley Hopkins, and you got occasional. I mean, you get to 6 goals against Notre Dame, you got a shot to win it. There's John Kemp making the stop.
The Irish allowing a nation-best 4 goals a game in action today against Hofstra. But here it is for you next weekend. It starts Friday night, then a good one in the Ivy League, Princeton against Penn at 2 on Saturday, followed by number 6 against number 2. And then on Sunday, Bill Tierney, Kevin Corrigan, St. Patrick's Day weekend makes it complete. When we return to Baltimore, we'll have a recap of the first half and second half action. North Carolina against Princeton, game 1 of the Face-Off Classic. This halftime report is presented by Warrior. All hail Warrior.com.
Sun damage, age spots, dark marks. They all add up to a less than perfect complexion, but your skin could look so much better. Introducing the new dark spot corrector from Proactive that's designed to help fade discoloration, brighten skin tone, and erase dark marks and sunspots to give you beautiful, even-toned skin.
It makes my skin look flawless. You can't even tell there was ever a blemish or a dark spot there.
Order Proactive today for only $19.95, and the amazing dark spot corrector is yours free. Plus, for a limited time, your shipping is free.
Within the first week of using it, I could tell a difference on just the evenness of my skin tone and getting rid of those dark spots.
Get the dark spot corrector and these great free extras, an $82 value for only $19.95.
People have asked me, you have really nice skin. What have you done? Proactive, that's always the answer.
And when you order today, your shipping is free. Call 1-800-575-0153 because having clear, flawless skin just got easier with Proactive.
Welcome back to the Conaca Minolta Face-Off Classic. The first half of game 1 of 3 in the books. North Carolina looking to stop a 2-game losing streak, has a 2-goal lead on number 14 Princeton. Quinn, as we take a look back at the first half, we mentioned North Carolina struggling scoring in the last 2 games. Offense, the talent was on display in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, they look good. You know, they still have too many turnovers, but I think they're getting some opportunities in transition they need. And they're sharing the ball. You know, I think they're trying and they have the right intention. It's just a matter of finishing some plays.
Take a look at the first half highlights. Marcus Holman got the ball game started almost right off the bat.
Yeah, good job by Holman. Little re-dodge here from the wing. He looks at the defense, says, you're not going to double me. I'm going to take it. I like this matchup. Princeton comes back, scores 2 in a row. Kip Orban from Himmler. And then Carolina scored back-to-back goals. One was in transition. This one by Emila off the face-off. 2 goals in 10 seconds. McBride had a pair of goals in the second quarter. That a nice assist by Duncan Hutchins. Shriver's lone point right there, down to the freshman from Canada, McDonald. And Orban has 2. This one too easy, right-handed alley dodge, beating Restivo, Carolina's goalie, who I thought did a really nice job. Physical game, a lot at stake for this Carolina Tar Heel team that's lost back-to-back games, and a Princeton team coming off a loss to Johns Hopkins. That, again, too easy. Dunster's a strong left-handed player. Got to take away his strength.
Let's send it down to Paul, who's standing by with Chris Bates.
Well, Coach, Tommy Schreiber, your leading scorer, held to 1 assist. How do you get him more involved in the offense?
We got to try to set some picks for him. We got to minimize turnovers so we have possession of the ball. I thought that hurt us, and we got to shoot better. But we got to get Tommy off so we can get some shots off and also distribute the ball.
And what's the strategy defending these sharpshooters from North Carolina?
Well, we'll bump with a little bit of zone in the second half again, and we got to be able to clear the ball. I thought that hurt us at times.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, Paul, thanks. Take a look at the stats.
And what stood out about that is we have to shoot better. You know, Steven Restivo, after giving up the first goal of the game on high heat, came back and made 8 saves for North Carolina. Right now he's out playing Tyler Fiorito, which is a surprise. The other thing of note there, the face-offs, 50-50. That's a win for Princeton.
Lucas back out there against Keenan. Ground ball, Cunningham and the Tigers. So now another face-off win, and here is Lucas with it.
Be interested.
Out of Chaminade on Long Island.
Be interested to get Paul's take on Princeton shooting. The book on Restivo is that you can beat him high. You had success on the first high shot of the game, but since then, he's been sitting and waiting on the high shots and making some easy saves. Paul, what do you see down from field level?
We know the book on Restivo is the outside shot. He's dynamic and close, but if you heard the Princeton huddles, Coach Bates wants his team to continue to shoot high, but move the goalie from pipe to pipe. They're shooting stick side too much. You have to test Restivo. Right off a ball movement, sting bottom corners, stick side, not the successful way to do it.
All right, Paul. So Schreiber has it now. Heard Chris Bates talking about finding a way. So now they set a pick, and he's guarded by Dunster. Quick double comes, so he tries to find the open man. And Grossman has to go back and get it. So he's still being guarded by a short stick. Tyler Morton from up top. Schreiber with room to move. Sees the quick slide, gets rid of it, and Capretta goes high to high. That's why they call it execution.
Excellent team offense. Princeton incorporating what Coach Bates talked about, what Coach Bresci even mentioned. If you freeze it right here, this is the key matchup. It's Schreiber, and he's got a favorable matchup. So you're going to see Carolina double. They go, they roll up field. He throws back, and too much cushion for Capretta on the wing. The cat and mouse game starts right here. He draws the double team, but that's just too easy. If you're Carolina on defense, yes, you do have to slough in, but you got to stay respectful of a guy like Capretta.
His second of the ball game, Schreiber's second assist of the ball game. Capretta award number 1 for the first 3 years of his Princeton career. After going 4-8 a year ago, he wanted to change things up, went back to his high school number, and right now having a very productive senior year. Another ground ball for Cunningham. So what coming in was a huge advantage. North, great effort there to come up with the ground ball, but Lucas shovels it. McBride finishes what he started with the ground ball. So McBride gets a possession back for North Carolina. Ryan Kilpatrick, the long stick freshman out of Pennsylvania, out there in the middle of the field.
That's great effort. And you called it. It was great effort by McBride. You know, possession is everything.
We started our telecast talking about two guys who know each other very well, Wiedmeyer and McBride. We changed it up, put Costello on Jack McBride. Here he is with the ball. Now Pat Foster being guarded by Fernandez.
Princeton in a zone.
Hutchins moves it along to Galasso.
Yeah, Princeton's just packed in a zone right now. Galasso will be the primary outside shooter. Problem right now is he's behind the goal.
So here's Foster. Throws it away. An unforced error by the Tar Heels.
Surprised to see Princeton go zone on the first possession of the second half, but it worked.
Right turnover. You heard Chris Bates tell Paul they would show it a little bit more, and they come right out with it immediately.
Turnovers. Carolina committing more turnovers than shots on goal in their last 2 losses.
McBride chasing down Fiorito. Here's Grossman with Creighton on him.
Fine chemistry on offense for Carolina. They've shuffled the cards. Seen just a little better continuity. And then turnovers. Silly turnovers.
Capretta again. Restivo ready for it this time. Looking for the long outlet pass. Here's Staines. Staines is a threat, but he gives it up. Didn't like the number, so McBride moves it along. Emila gets underneath, gets popped. Big hit by Wiedmeyer. So the Tar Heels cough it up quickly again.
Yeah, that may not get listed as a turnover, but it was. He'll probably get credit for a shot there.
Statistician Russ DeLin says absolutely that's what happened, but certainly a short possession for the Heels. So now Shanley in the middle of the field. What do you have, Paul?
You know, if you look at that last shot by Emila, he didn't change levels at all. He dragged his stick low. Tyler Fiorito did a great job of mirroring that stick location of Davey Emila. And Davey Emila needs to step up another angle or two from that goal line extended. No angle on a guy like Fiorito. You got to move that guy and shoot a pipe-to-pipe type shot.
So now Princeton looking to even things up. Quint, let's revisit your keys for the Tigers with the ball here down by 1.
Utilize face-off options. They're leading Carolina in that department. That's a huge win. Play good team defense. There have been times today where you didn't get a slide on Marcus Holman. You let Jimmy Dunster score an ISO left-handed. I just think there are times when Princeton has got to do a better job in their team defensive concepts.
So you hear Jimmy, you're hot. That means Jimmy Dunster behind the cage playing defenses for Carl. Takes a run at McComas.
Possess here. If you're the Tigers, I'm patient. Possessions that go over 1.5 minutes and 2 minutes in length, incrementally your chances of scoring increases.
Schreiber sees the double coming.
Defenses get tired.
For Carl up top. There's a stall warning, so Shanley and the Tigers have to keep it in the box. And they will give it up.
Dangerous restart here. Carolina wants to get to this ball ASAP.
You see Creighton taking a run at it, but as you mentioned, they're out there for a long time on defense. He has to send it back to Dunster.
Ideal time for Carolina to possess, give their defense a breather.
Under 9 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Alex Capretta with the second half's only goal. McBride being guarded by Costello. Now Galasso being guarded by Wiedmeyer. Dunster draws the pole of Raby. This is Chad Tutton, the freshman. Now Emila being guarded by a short stick. Quick double, puts it on the rug. Costello and Fiorito gets caught out of the cage. McBride gets popped, so good collapse defense for the Tigers. Loose ball.
Oh, this is great.
Good hit
How about
there.
this flurry?
Picked up by Tutton. Looking for McBride, and McBride has real estate to run it down. So after all that, the Tar Heels hang on to it. And Galasso draws Raby. Creighton will come off, so Shanley's out there on the defensive end for the Tigers. Here comes Holman. So a favorable matchup for Holman and the Tar Heels as he draws Shanley, who's been out there for a while.
Who's hot? Who's hot?
Wiedmeyer is. So they leave Tutton alone. Time, room, he gives it up to Dunster.
Coming back for his left.
Finds his man. Emila can't make the catch, though. Nice ground ball by Costello. Good hustle by McBride. Good pop there by Holman. Shanley's got to get rid of it, and he finds a man wide open. Strabo at the end. Shot in the goal and a flag. Look at the Princeton bench fired up off the transition goal. How did Strabo end up there?
Cherry picking. How does a D-mid
cherry pick
the entire Carolina defense? This defensive stand by Princeton, that whole possession was just great. Aggressive. Look at the clear. McBride, Ragan gets away with one right there. Carolina, though, over-pursues this ground ball. You see all the light blue jerseys? The defensive midfielder sneaks down the middle of the field.
His second of the season. Ties it all up at 6.
That's the type of goal that fires up an entire team when your defensive midfielder, who rarely gets those opportunities, scores. This whole Princeton bench in a frenzy, jumping, hooting and hollering. This is a type of goal that could change the complex of a game.
Playing more physical on defense. And on ground balls right here.
3 Princeton jerseys, 1 North Carolina jersey, but Lucas coughs it up. Carolina, oh, dangerous by McDonald, but Restivo there. Wide open in the middle of the field. Numbers for McBride and the Tar Heels. McBride, right down Charles Street, loses it. So now, McDonald with the pickup. McBride's got to be tired at this point.
Charles Street becomes a one-way north of Johns Hopkins. Tell you, Restivo throws great outlet passes. Some of the best we've seen all season.
Trying the hidden ball trick, but everyone knows it's still in the stick of Holman, so he gives it up to Hutchins. So a flurry of action here in Baltimore. Hutchins guarded by Lucas. There's Foster. Shot by Hutchins and a goal.
Princeton packing it in, inviting the outside shot. Notable here, 3/4 arm bouncer. Watch, use the earth. Gorgeous shot.
And Fiorito has no clue where this ball's going. Great release, but more importantly, Coach Pat Myers, the offensive coordinator, this is just the type of offense he wants. Ball starts behind with quick ball movement. The ball rotates against this zone, and then it's hands-free for Duncan Hutchins.
Old school bounce shot, Quentin. We don't see that very often nowadays.
On all these synthetic surfaces, sometimes it's hard to get that kick, especially on the newer ones that are kind of soft and cushy.
Violation by Princeton before they even got down to face off. So shot opportunity here and a goal. Creighton. Just like that, it's a 2-goal Tar Heel lead again.
Five seconds. Early offense. Twice this afternoon, Carolina has scored off of faceoffs. 10 seconds apart in the first quarter. 5 seconds apart here. Violation. Keenan carries in. Simple dish and shot.
You know, Quint, watching Tyler Fiorito, those last 2 goals, not stepping to the ball. Do you see anything wrong with his form or his overall approach?
I just don't think he's seeing the ball as sharply in the early season as in the past. You know, we watched him last week. I think 3 of the goals deflected and off of him. He has played big in the big stadium events. 5-1 record. He's beaten Hopkins twice. Beaten Syracuse once in Old Giant Stadium. But again, he's not really seeing the rock as well as he has.
McNeil gives it up to Galasso. Now, just when we started to talk about how well Princeton was doing on faceoffs, Keenan starts to get dialed in there at the X. 5 of North Carolina's 8 goals have been assisted, and that's what Joe Bresci was looking for, getting more players involved, distributing the ball. Hutchins being guarded by Strabo. Wiedmeyer picks it off. So you have to give North Carolina credit, though, after Strabo's goal, when we mentioned how fired up Princeton was after the D-Mitty getting one. It's been nothing but North Carolina, so now Princeton tries to answer.
Coach Bates telling Paul they're going to send more picks to Schreiber. We haven't seen that yet.
Well, right now we play the cat and mouse game as Strabo and Cunningham will try to get off. Cunningham staying on right there in the middle of the field. Here comes Grossman. Grossman's been quiet after 4 points against Hopkins. Here's Shanley through the box. Now Schreiber. Now the offensive personnel that they wanted is out there. There's Shanley being guarded by Morton. Up to Schreiber off a pick. Feed inside, tough catch. Somehow Grossman got a shot off but didn't have much on it. Restivo picks it up off the turf. Under 4 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Carolina with the ball and a 2-goal lead. Here's Morton. Picked up by Raby.
Nice little play by Morton. Understanding he wasn't allowed to go into the offensive side of the field until the midfielder on the far side by the substitution box, who was McBride, came back on sides. That allows him now to step. But he saw that entire play. And if he was too eager, he would have stepped off sides.
Here's Dunster drawing the slide. Galasso moving the ball quickly, but Bitter can't make the catch.
At times, Carolina looks...
McBride creating the turnover. Fiorito's in trouble. He's going to try to knock it out of bounds. Still loose. Fiorito out of the net, but the Tigers pick it up.
There are times when Carolina's stick work.
Good hustle there by Dunster, knocking Fernandez out of bounds and getting the ball back for the team in blue. But we have a flag down. About 10 yards away from Fernandez going out of bounds. Joe Bresci doesn't like the push call. Chris Bates will take it. Joe Bresci wants an explanation. Let's take a look.
Dunster. Push from behind. He got him a little too much on the numbers.
Initially, it was right, and then Fernandez took an extra step.
Yeah, my point prior to that, there are times where Carolina's stick work is just letting them down. They got a dozen turnovers today.
Donald bails him out with the ground ball. There's Shandon, back to McDonald. Inside feed, catch made. Extra pass to Capretta. Now Schreiber with time and room. Too high. All even. Mark Field restarts for the Tigers.
Zone for Carolina, their cowboy call.
Capretta looks to be the zone buster, and he is. 3 for 33.
Carolina plays magnificent man-down defense. Ball goes out on the end line. They switch into a zone defense and never really get their bearings. Capretta has too much room on the outside. Coach Bresci. You see what's at stake today.
Capretta with 3 goals, Schreiber with 3 assists.
That's a communication thing. You hear the cowboy call coming. You heard him say, cowboy, cowboy, cowboy. That's a zone. It's a 3-3 zone. Get to your spots. As a goalie, if I'm not happy, I'm going to wave that off and say, man to man, call your numbers. That was a communication issue.
Let's check in with Paul.
If you watch Restivo, especially on these outside shots, he almost looks a little bit rattled and starting to think too much. He guessed on that last one. Capretta stung that shot high. If you looked at Restivo, he took a step and in that low direction, anticipating a low shot.
Quinn, I want to go back to something you said. So you're saying the goalie is almost like a middle linebacker or a quarterback, and he has the authority to change the defense?
Oh, yeah. Oh, in a second. The ball goes out on the end line. It's going to be a quick restart, so it's going to be tough to set your zone up. You got to take all 6 pieces and get them in their spots. If the ball had gone out on the sideline, a horn, there's a stoppage, that's ideal. You change personnel, you get everybody lined up. So on the quick restart on the end line, if you're not 100% comfortable, just stay in a man, call out numbers, defend from the inside out.
And Quentin Amon, if you're North Carolina's defense, why not press out on these outside shooters? Outside of Tommy Schreiber, who's breaking this defense down?
I would never play zone against Princeton, ever. They have 1 penetrator, Schreiber. Orban has shown some flashes today. Otherwise, they are minimally invasive.
So there's a stall warning, our second on North Carolina. They had one at the end of the first half as well. Certainly looks like they will hold for 1 here. So here's McBride. 15. Bitter. Gets underneath Wiedmeyer, taken away. 10 seconds for the Tigers. Myers with 5. They're going to have to try the Hail Mary. Fiorito sails it down there, and Restivo makes the grab. So Joe Bresci and the Tar Heels looking to stop a 2-game losing streak, have a 1-goal lead as we head in to the 4th quarter. Do we have bonus lacrosse in store in Baltimore? The Conica Minolta Face-Off Classic is brought to you by Warrior. All hail. Whitman's Sampler. Today is someone's birthday or anniversary. Give them a Whitman's Sampler. And Old Spice Body Spray. Smell is power.
Listen up. up, man. It's time we learn to make the big plays, and they start with chocolate, because women love chocolate. Birthdays, Mother's Days, anniversaries, special occasions, treat each one like it's the championship game. The big play? Give her the Whitman Sampler, an American classic. Now, if you really want to win big, enter the Whitman Sweet Sweepstakes to win a luxury suite for 20 of your friends at the Whitman Sampler Mile High Classic. Just visit the Whitman Sampler Facebook page for details. Remember, the big games call for an American classic. Give her a Whitman Sampler.
Introducing InstaHang, the revolutionary wall peg dispensing tool that lets you hang any picture, any object, big or small, on any wall in seconds. Just load the peg strip, place flush to the wall, and peg. The secret is in the angled peg design that angles up for a super tight grip that never slips. Snap on the accessory cap to cover the peg, or add on a handy hanging hook. All the accessories store inside the tool. InstaHang has a built-in bubble level, a convenient measuring guide, and it automatically reloads itself so you can hang multiple pictures. And now the complete InstaHang toolkit, complete with a peg dispensing tool and 50-piece accessory kit, is yours for just $14.99. But wait, call now and we'll include as a bonus an additional 50-piece accessory kit and this precision laser level with dual bubble levels and a retractable tape measure for hanging pictures perfect every time. Just pay separate processing and handling. Get the InstaHang with 100-piece accessory set and the precision laser level of $50 value, all for only $14.99. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-693-3704 or visit instahang.com.
From February to Memorial Day, we will have every second of the postseason on the ESPN networks. And here in Baltimore, we take a recap on our Warrior game track to take a look back at the first 3 quarters of Princeton against North Carolina.
Princeton goalie Tyler Fiorito, 2 saves. He hasn't made a stop since the first quarter. Meanwhile, North Carolina in that last quarter, 6 turnovers and only 3 total shots.
Today's game track brought to you by Warrior.
We've never seen a year like this year where the lead is so important.
Lucas almost had a fast break opportunity, but he overran the ball, so Staines picks it up for the Tar Heels.
And that may sound obvious, you know, it's obvious you want the lead, but in this age of lacrosse where possessing the ball is easier because of stick technology, we've seen teams with leads put the ball in the freezer and kill 5 or 6 minutes. So if Carolina can score the next goal, get a 2 or 3 goal lead, then they will dictate the tempo of how the last 10 minutes are played.
Let's go down to Paul Carcaterra.
Coach Bates anticipating next time they get the ball on offense that Tommy Schreiber is getting so much attention from this Tar Heel defense. He will start with the ball, look for some quick ball movement, and guys scraping from inside to create that outside shot.
Foster can't make the catch. Is it another Tar Heel turnover? Yes, Strabo with the ground ball.
He's thinking about the shot before he caught it. Said earlier, great stick work. Gets you into May. You don't play a Memorial Day weekend unless you have really sharp stick work. 15 turnovers for the Heels.
Grossman going to work on Staines. So 51 turnovers in the last 2.5+ games. That was part of the reason why they lost to Lehigh and Penn. Now Capretta feeling it, goes left hand. Restivo thought he got a piece, but it went right by him.
Look, Sam, push out on 33. There's certain days and certain guys you just don't have the feel. Restivo directing his defense.
On Friday, travel down to Tobacco Road as bitter ACC rivals meet on the field when North Carolina battles Duke. Old Spice College Lacrosse on ESPNU Friday at 5 Eastern.
Is that 9th Street or 9th Avenue?
That would be Ninth Street in Durham. If it was at Fetcher Field, we'd go right down Franklin Street. Here's Ficaro. Hands free. Restivo. I don't know if that made a save or he just got drilled with it, but it'll be his 11th save of the ball game.
Done very, very well.
That's Koskinen Stadium. Durham, 5 o'clock. Duke already 0-1 in the ACC, losing last week to Maryland. And then how about that part of Turmoil Tuesday? Maryland, just when you're ready to think they're going to be number 2 or maybe number 1, they get upset by UMBC. Which you will be able to see later today on ESPN3 against Johns Hopkins.
Loyola up early, hosting Duke today. Loyola up 4-1.
Good ball movement. Resulted in a good look for Ficaro. Went right back to the danger corner. No ball boys there now.
Kark evacuated also.
So a good set so far for the Tigers, but they haven't been able to put it behind Restivo. Now Ficaro taking a run at McComas. Sees the double coming. You hear them yelling, shooter. Now Schreiber. Smith on him. Shanley keeps going, goes behind now. Here's Capretta. He is feeling it today, taking a run at Morton. Back to his left. Ficaro. Lefty. Out on Cage. Long possession here for the Tigers. Shanley being guarded by Dunster again. He'll come from the wing. Here, go with him, Jim. Stay. Back to his left on the swim. He keeps going. Restivo gets a piece. Grossman comes out on the ground ball. Now he's doubled. Who's going to come up with this critical ground ball? You hear the Tiger bench saying that's a push. And there's the whistle. Princeton holds on. The possession continues. This turning into a huge moment in this ball game here with just over 11 minutes left to play in regulation. So Schreiber forced the issue. He gets the pick. So now he's being guarded by Dunster. Watch the Tar Heel blue jerseys collapse on 22. Smith gets back to him. Shanley can't make the catch. Nice, clean pickup by McComas. McComas keeps it himself. Galasso goes and helps him out.
McComas is really good off the ground. Carolina handling the Princeton invert. You heard them call out hammer, hammer, hammer. And I think, judging by the way they played, that was kind of a flush out, a quick double to the ball, forcing the pass to Shanley. Off target, turnover.
Another turnover. Just 16 now for the Tar Heels, so they give it right back after the defense makes a great stand. Here comes Myers, no numbers, so Schreiber unsettled. Quickly doubled, big hit by Holman, but Schreiber holds on to it. Time and room, extra pass.
Horrible Carolina possession.
Let's send it down to Paul.
You know, turnovers becoming the Achilles heel for the Tar Heels. You mentioned, Damon, 51 turnovers their last 2 games. More turnovers than shots on goal. I mean, that's a ridiculous stat.
Can Princeton cash in and tie this ball game up? Here's Orban. He had 2 in the first half. Schreiber's been more of a point guard than a Kobe Bryant type here this afternoon, but he has the ball now.
Princeton going to their pairs offense.
Ficaro can't bring it in, and Schreiber might have rushed that pass. Next Saturday, ESPNU has a lacrosse doubleheader featuring some of the top programs in the nation. First at 2 Eastern, it's an Ivy League rivalry between Penn and Princeton. Then at 4 Eastern, perennial powers collide as Syracuse takes on Johns Hopkins. Old Spice College Lacrosse on ESPNU Saturday at 2 and 4 Eastern. Penn Quakers knocking off North Carolina earlier this week. They have a good one today in Philadelphia against Villanova. An old-fashioned street fight there, and great hustle there. Princeton gets it right back. Turnover number 17.
Sloppy. Sloppy, sloppy, sloppy. Both teams very sloppy.
North Carolina has yet to take a shot this quarter. Chris Bates knows what that feels like. He went the second quarter against Hopkins without a shot, but you see there McComas. Got to give credit to McDonald staying on his hands, but McComas really in no rush to move that ball along. So they get Schreiber back on the field. He has it now. Worth repeating, it has been the Achilles heel indeed this year for a very talented offensive club. Grossman draws the double. Up top for Caro. Gets his hands free. Not on cage. 8:27 left in regulation. Tigers down by 1 with the ball. Here's Capretta being guarded by Staines. Gets a pick, so now he has the shorty on him. Up top, Shanley. Time, room, bullseye.
Everything starts with the turnover that was created by Mike McDonald, leading to this extra possession. First things first here, watch this pick. Freeze it right here. What this pick right here does is it creates a matchup switch for Carolina. Roll it. Matchup switch, eyes of the defense on the ball carrier. Shanley able to free himself, snaps that ball into the corner.
And if you talk to Coach Bates, he knows Tucker Shanley, 7 in black. He's their X factor. He's the one who could stretch a defense with Schreiber getting so much attention. If 7 could light it up with that little bit of a giddy up in that shot, that ball was screaming.
So Joe Bresci wants to talk things over now that it's all even at 8 with 8:20 to play. Alex Capretta with 3 and 1. Shanley with the goal to even it up. The X Factor coming through for the Tigers. We are all even in Baltimore.
A proclamation from the CEO. Okay. We are pleased with your recommendation that Konica Minolta manage our entire IT and document operations. Your wise decision to deploy BizUps has brought savings, efficiency, and environmental sustainability to our land. The CEO now wishes to personally acknowledge your contribution.
Oh, boy.
From document solutions to IT services, great companies count on Konica Minolta.
Welcome back to Baltimore. A good one here in Game 1 of the Face-Off Classic, 8-8. And you know, Quint, when Davey Emmel and Jack McBride announced they were going to North Carolina, everyone said, wow, that's a lot of talent. And then everyone said, wow, how are they going to play with one ball?
Well, they've combined for 3 goals today. Carolina, as we talked about earlier, they've stockpiled so many attackmen that you have many natural attackers now playing at the midfield position. Emela off the face-off win. McBride from Duncan Hutchins, nice pass inside. And then I really like this goal by McBride. With a flag down, he pushes it. But there's no question, this Carolina offense still lacks chemistry. Too many turnovers today. The performance in the second half is really, it's beyond description. Where they have 3 total shots and 9 turnovers.
So a critical face-off here. We have a whistle. Hold on Carolina Princeton ball. Cunningham stays out there.
Coach Bresci calling timeout. I think he felt that his defense was getting tired.
So they get it to Furcaro. Cunningham still out there. You hear the captain, Cunningham, say, slow it up. Let's get off and get some offensive personnel on. So 2 unanswered goals by the Tigers have evened this up at 8. They have a chance to regain the lead. They led it 2-1 in the first quarter. Here's Grossman. Pushed down.
Grossman takes a beating when he leans in left-handed.
So now they got the switch. They have Schreiber up top being guarded by a short stick.
Got to occupy off ball here if you're a Princeton Tiger.
Schreiber going to his left, sees the slide coming. Quick movement to Grossman. Comas recovers. Getting the hands free. Restivo gets a piece. Good save by Morton. Gets turned back. Good job by Furcaro to slow him up. 14 saves for Restivo. He had a career-high 18 in the opener against Penn State. Under 7 to play, all even at 8. It's been a while since we've seen the Tar Heels actually run an offense. So it's Hutchins, Dunster, and Holman at the midfield. Now Galasso making the defense move. Pass gets through to Dunster. Shot not on Cage, but Holman back there. Now here's another shot and a goal. Hutchins has another one.
Wiedmeyer can't believe it. Marcus Holman is the best player on Carolina's offense. Watch him catch this initial shot. He's behind the goal in a backup responsibility. You'll see number 1 right here. Catches his shot. An amazing play. Re-triggers up front. Hutchins has the hot hand. Marcus Holman made that play.
It was a great spot feed by Holman, Quint. As you mentioned, was able to catch that ball in midair, and Princeton, off the original shot, never got back into their base defense, and that allowed Hutchins to find that seam and just let that one fly.
North Carolina went almost 15 minutes without a shot. Hutchins buries it, so they have the lead again. Now Keenan with a fast break opportunity, gives it up early. And Jack McBride puts on the brakes. You know, it's funny you mentioned Marcus Holman being the best offensive player. You talk to opposing coaches, they always say, you know, he's underrated. Well, if everyone thinks he's underrated, pretty much, I guess the word is out that he's pretty good. The ACC Rookie of the Year back in 2010. The junior captain. Baltimore product. Played his high school ball at the Gilman School.
Right up north on Roland Avenue.
Dunster draws the short stick. Back to his left. Dunster avoids the crease but can't put it in. Race to the sideline. And it's Princeton ball. So good hustle by Myers. Tomorrow night's ESPNU Tournament Countdown begins with the NIT Selection Show at 9 Eastern and then a special edition of the Experts at 9:30 Eastern. The Tournament Countdown on ESPNU, ESPN3, and also streaming live on WatchESPN.com and the Watch ESPN app Sunday night. Into the middle of the field, look out behind. Good hustle by Bitter, but he can't put it on the rug. Corbin holds on to it.
Corbin's a really good looking young player for Princeton. One of their best athletes.
Now once again, the Tigers have to answer. 4.5 to play in regulation. Orban gives it up to Schreiber. Now Orban has it back. He has 2 already, taking a run at the short stick. Sends it behind. This is Luke Armour. Now Ficaro up top. Ficaro driving hard to his right. Sees the slide. Who has 22 up top. Smith goes out on Schreiber. Schreiber from the wing. Sees Staines coming. Armour with the grab. Hear the hammer call again, Quint.
Zone behind it. Don't like the matchup they call hammer. Look at him, 5-man zone inside. And they'll get a quick double here.
Good collapse closeout defense by Staines. And Chris Bates, with 3:11 left to play, down by 1, wants to talk things over. We'll step aside from M&T Bank Stadium as well when we return. The conclusion of Game 1 of the Face-Off Classic.
How is this? Wow, you know what? I actually do feel more powerful.
Potato chips! Power! It's me.
Tournament Countdown is on ESPNU. At 1, Andy Katz interviews all 68 coaches on college basketball live. At 8, the Women's Selection Show dissects the brackets. Then at 9, the experts delve deep into each region. Tournament Countdown starts Monday at 1 on ESPNU.
Chris Bates Ball Club coming out of a timeout with the ball, down by 1, but it could be much worse if North Carolina had done a better job of holding on to the ball.
Tiger defense has created turnovers all day long. The Heels have committed 17 of them. Forcing the ball in the crease, good hustle by Princeton, earning extra possessions. Strabo scores in transition off of that particular turnover. Sticks up in the passing lanes. Wiedmeyer, Costello, Jonathan Myers, Cunningham, they've been everywhere. Shanley ties it up at 8.
So the defense has done the job, but now they need the equalizer once again with 3:11 left to play in regulation. Let's check in with Paul as Shanley puts it on the rug. Let's check in with Paul as Princeton has the ball.
Well, they're starting Tommy Schreiber behind the cage, but look for him to actually go above goal line extended to break this defense down. Coach Bates basically said Tommy's going to run by his defender, and it's the off-ball play of the Princeton Tigers that'll be pivotal.
There it is. Capretta's going to let it fly. High to high. Restivo ready for it, but rebound. Restivo grabs it out of the air. 15 saves.
Ficaro actually had that ball in his stick spinning and nearly got the shot off. Did not like the location of Capretta's shot. Just too easy. Tell you, if he yanks that ball down low, I got to think Restivo's thinking high heat all the way.
So now the Tiger defense going to have to get it back. Tar Heels 2:20 away from stopping the losing streak. Each team has a timeout left.
Got to play the ball. Through the Heels, you're in stall mode. Coach Bresci will be stalking the official. He's got a timeout.
He's already starting to move down that field. He's telling his player, there's the stall warning. We're under 2 to play. The refs quick to call it. Holman, Costello on him. Fiorito starting to come out of the net. Will they double behind? Fiorito's out of the cage, wide open net. They come up with the loose ball. It's still out there. Who's it going to come off of? Good pickup. Wiedmeyer into Fernandez.
That happened so fast, Carolina couldn't get the timeout.
McBride looking to cut off Fernandez, but he can't. Did you go off sides? No, McBride stays behind the midfield line. So Princeton gets it right back. 80 seconds and counting left in regulation. Does Chris Bates take a timeout? Or does he just say, get it to 22 and let's go? He's going to take a timeout. Chris Bates wants to draw up an equalizer with 1:10 left to play. The North Carolina Tar Heels will be coming to Charlotte, North Carolina on Saturday, April 14th to face Hofstra in the 3rd annual ESPNU Warrior Classic. This doubleheader event takes place at American Legion Memorial Stadium, home of the brand new Major League Lacrosse Charlotte Hounds. Get your tickets now by calling 704-980-2999 or visit ESPNUWarriorClassic.com for more information. Let's eavesdrop on the Tiger Huddle. Tigers on lockdown mode in the huddle. Obviously, why not? With a 1-goal lead and 1:10 left to play. Somehow it's got to get in the stick of 22, I would imagine, Quinn.
Yeah, the biggest issue here, does Carolina play man or zone? And so if you're Princeton, you got to have two, you're sitting on two options.
All right, talking about the Carolina defense, let's check in with Paul Carcaterra.
Well, in the huddle, Coach Bresci grabbed his defense. They're going to play soft, really not taking chances, almost like a prevent defense in football. And they know the shooters. They're putting a long pole on 33 in black, Capretta.
They're also polling Shanley 7, so an attackman should have a short stick on him.
Or it could be Grossman.
Grossman has Creighton
on the left wing.
So here's Schreiber. No timeouts left for the Tigers. Here's Capretta. Just like that, a short stick ends up on him. Capretta has 3 already for Caro. Caro gets a pick, gets through. Schreiber, shot. That hit a pipe. Who's going to win the race? They give it to Carolina with 40 seconds left to play. Ryan Creighton with the hustle.
That's hard to believe. That is hard to believe. Closest to the ball when it crosses the line.
Net wide open. Galasso all by himself. North Carolina has a timeout to work with. If they get in trouble, I don't know what Shanley's waiting for. They got to go get the ball. They got him doubled along the end line, and there Joe Bresci recognizes it. Did he get the timeout? He did not get the timeout. Not sure really what's going on here. Here's Capretta in the middle of the field as we go the other way. He's got Ficaro on his left. He's going to take it himself. Now they give it to Steve. No, they changed their mind. They give it to McDonald. Joe Bresci might want to call a timeout to get his defense on the same page here with 14 seconds left. Schreiber with 10. Capretta not on cage. Princeton with backup with 5 seconds left to play. Ficaro might have to keep it himself. Princeton 43 shots. 4 seconds. Ficaro with 3. They don't get a shot off, and the Tar Heels survive and stop the losing streak with a hard-fought 9-8 win. Steven Restivo, 16 saves. Joe Bresci gets to exhale with the victory.
Steven Restivo. Unbelievable performance.
He's our Conaca Minolta player of the game. 16 saves, 8 in the second half.
Carolina played a ton of defense, especially in the fourth quarter. Only giving up 1 goal in the fourth quarter.
Let's send it down to Paul, who's standing by with a very relieved Joe Bresci.
Coach, what'd you learn about your team today off of 2 straight losses? You play a Princeton team, you win by 1.
I'm so proud of them, man. They've worked their tails off. I know we had a tough week, but what a way to wrap it up. So proud of them. I'm so proud of the support of University Athletic Department, the alumni. They've all been sticking with us. We know we got a lot of pieces to continue to work out, but that group right there, they got a lot of heart, a lot of character. And to come away with a 9-8 win is just fantastic.
And describe the play of your goaltender, Steven Restivo.
He was ridiculous. You know, I think he's had a lot of pressure on him, especially in the first half. He held tight. You know, we took advantage of our opportunities offensively, and heck, we played the whole fourth quarter on defense. So just proud of the whole team, and Steve-O did a heck of a job as well.
Thanks, Coach. Enjoy this one.
We were critical of Carolina's defense, or I was early in this game when Princeton was getting good looks. But as the game went on, Carolina's defense packed it in. They kept the Tigers out of the paint. Restivo handled the outside shots.
Up next for the Tar Heels Friday night, a short trip to Durham to take on the Blue Devils. We'll have that on ESPNU 5 o'clock Friday. Once again, our final score here, North Carolina wins it by 1. Coming up next, Sports Center U, and then game 2 of our doubleheader, #1 Virginia against Cornell. Now let's go to Rich Hollenberg in the Sports Center U studio.